everyone, and welcome to the fourth edition of the Fujitsu Pride podcast. Not a podcast, what's one of those? Time to Shine. We're in the last week of April now, and it's time to celebrate Lesbian Visibility Week. It used to be a day, and this is something that's now spread to a week, and it's to get the message out there about the LGBTQI inclusion. We've got a guest with us today, Anna Marsh. Hi, Anna.
Hello. Hi, Anna.
Hiya.
And we'll be hearing from you shortly. As with all of the podcasts that we've done so far, we've got the usual suspects, and we'll just have a quick round the table to see what we've been doing since the last podcast. I will go first. I've had a haircut, which is brilliant. With lockdown easing and that sort of thing, I've been able to go to the pub for the first time, which was great. I did that on my birthday last week. Happy days.
Happy birthday.
Say again.
Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. And I've just managed to book my COVID vaccine for this week as well. So I'm now at that age where I can book it. It's formal. So yeah, it's just same old really, with a few bits and pieces, seeing more family and friends. So that's been really, really good. Rohan, speaking of haircuts, have you had one?
I've had a haircut on the 13th of April at 8 o'clock. I was up bright and early, and I hope you all like my haircut, viewers. Anyway, I also I've had a fabulous few weeks since we last met. I've had a week and a half off. I have celebrated Sinhala and Tamil New Year. Ayubowan Wanakkam to all our overseas viewers. And also I've had a birthday as well. Not on the same day as John's, of course, because that
Happy birthday to you as well. Wow.
Thank you, Mel.
I was actually in the birthday club. Mine was last week too.
How was it?
Oh my goodness.
Now I'm feeling left out.
What date was yours, Anna?
Monday, 19th.
The 19th. Yeah, I was the 20th. Cool.
It was the 16th.
Happy birthday.
So I was the 16th. So it looks like we're all April bunnies.
It's a good job we've not got a load of candles on cake here. We'd have to get the fire brigade involved these days.
I would think so.
I think with John's age, you'd probably need the fire brigade on standby, eh, John? Only kidding, John.
Whatever.
Yeah, but yeah, and I've had a week, so I've really enjoyed my week and a half off because the weather's been fabulous, and I have met up with friends, all in line with the COVID rules as well, I hasten to add, and no more than 6.
Rohan's got a little bit robotic.
Sorry? And then,
you went a bit
I'm a
robotic.
robot, but
oh, did I go robotic?
robotic, yeah.
And I've had a few glasses of wine, well, yeah, a few per day. But apart from that, it's been fabulous. And Liv, how's things going with you?
Same as here. The weather's been getting a lot nicer now, so I've been helping my mum out in her garden, weeding. Actually, it's been very good. It's very therapeutic.
Yeah,
You want to come round to my house and do my garden?
Like, you're joking, but I actually would.
I might take you up on that.
So yeah, that's what I've been mostly getting up to. How about you, Mel?
Started running, as I said the other week.
Am I the only one who's losing, Mel?
You've gone a bit robotic.
I'm going
yourself
robotic
now.
now.
robotic as well. I think Mel said
You hear me?
exterminate.
So Mel's now a Dalek, but I think she was saying she
Good old
started running.
Fujitsu, we've gone robotic. Yeah, so
You've been running.
I said I'd started running, but managed to fall down a pothole while walking the dogs and injured my ankle. So I've just started running again. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Good. So today was my first run for like the last 2 weeks. I've not had my haircut, but I have had my brows done. And yes, since we last met, I've got a sparkly ring on my finger.
Congratulations.
So thank you. So Sarah
Awesome news.
asked me to marry her. So that was a bit of excitement. What about you, Anna? What have you been doing the last few weeks?
Much like yourselves, had a haircut. Managed to
Celebrated a birthday?
yeah, we were actually we were away last week. We had a week in a little converted barn, just the two of us. We just decided to sort of escape as early as we possibly could, so we had a little hideaway and a bit of rest and repair and recuperation, which was nice. And there was the occasional pop to sit outside a pub in the freezing cold, but nevertheless, in true British spirit, we toughed it out and had a pint and a lunch and stuff. So it was all nice. It's nice to see the world opening up again. Well, certainly, in the UK, opening up again.
Yes.
And the more alcohol you drink, the warmer you get, so you don't feel the cold so much. Is that?
There is that.
Kind of a general rule.
I've got to be honest, I didn't find that at all during the
Just warm the whole time, weren't you?
well, I wouldn't say warm all the time, but it certainly didn't have that effect on me. And I had a lot of alcohol in those 10 days.
Bless you.
Not too much, I hasten to add.
Not that we're condoning that.
Yeah.
No. Drink responsibly, or if you're teetotal, that's perfectly fine. So Lesbian Visibility Week, Liv, what do you think, why is it important? What does it mean to you?
I think it's just a really nice way to highlight the importance of having lesbians or women loving women kind of at the forefront, and to showcase that kind of we're here, we're just like other people, except we like women. And yeah, it's nice to celebrate like the achievements that lesbians have. And yeah, so I think it's it's nice that it's been extended to a week, or that it's running for a week now.
Yeah, that's cool. And Anna, what about yourself?
I think it's just I think it's great to recognise love in any form, really, between any person and any other person, really. So I think it's just great to see all of these sort of focused days or weeks or whatever they are, celebrating all types of different relationships. And fortunately these days pretty much everybody gets a turn, which is great. Gets their little moment to say, actually, that's who I am and that's who I relate to. I think that's really important.
Yeah.
How did you meet your partner, Anna?
Wow.
Right in there.
Tinder.
No, not Tinder. I suppose you could call it old-fashioned social media, because this is nobody knew the phrase .com back in, what would it have been, 1993, I think it was. I was 16, my partner was 24 at the time, and the way that things got communicated back then was very different from the way they were now. And we actually both responded to an advertisement in the local evening newspaper, which, believe me, was a thing all those years ago, before social media.
That's really cool.
To join a newly forming women's football team that were getting together in our local area. And we both, as I say, saw this advertisement in the newspaper and turned up to training with a bunch of other people who, many of whom are still friends. And we were initially just friends. We were each with sort of partners for several years, actually, and moved between relationships. But we sort of found that when one of us was moving out of a relationship, perhaps the other one was already, was well established in one, and there was some general backwards and forwards for about probably 10 years or so, I think. And then we suddenly realized that at a very similar time we'd been sort of slightly forced apart by our respective partners at the time who didn't get on, and it meant we were spending less time together, and we suddenly realised that that wasn't good for us and we were missing each other. So we got together over a football match, as you do. I think it was the FA Cup final or something like that, and realised that we just missed each other. And in comparing notes, we both found that we were unhappy with our current relationships, and we're in the various stages of wrapping them up, if you like. I'd started to look for somewhere new to live, and Rach was with someone that was, and it was sort of just gradually sort of coming to an end.
So sorry to interrupt you. My Morrison's delivery's just arrived, so I'm going to nip off for a second. You carry on your story, the things you have to do. Speak to you.
Okay. Sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say, so just so that timeline, then you said 10 years on, so you meant it was not, is that 2003, or are we still in?
Yeah, late in 2002 was sort of when we had the conversation and a bit of a meeting of minds, and realised that there was more to it than just being friends. But it wasn't until early 2003, actually, towards the end of February, in 2003, my gran and Rachel's dad passed away in the same week.
Oh, no.
And we both had this sort of bit of a wake-up moment, which is actually, life's too short to not be with the person that you want to be with, sort of thing. And that sort of hastened our mutual extraction from the relationships that we were in. As I say, I found somewhere else to live and moved out from where I was with very little, actually, into more or less a bare flat. And I think it may have been the 31st of March that year.
Do you remember the time? 31st of March?
Gosh, about 7ish in the evening, probably, something like that. And Rach turned up on the doorstep of my new flat that I was renting, with her toothbrush, and asked if she could stay the night. And I haven't got rid of her since. So that was 18 years ago now. So happily ever after from that point onwards.
That is so cute.
Yeah, obviously times have changed, because nowadays people don't seem to meet in that old-fashioned way, which is quite romantic and endearing.
That's
I mean,
true.
the sort of the youngsters of this day live through different means. I know some of my young friends tend to meet in different means, but yeah, go on other days when you used to go down to the pub, check the venue out, check everyone else out, and not that I'm saying I did that, of course, but I think that's a lovely story. That's a lovely story, and I can see maybe the little 2 pictures there in the back.
Oh yeah, one of them's a nephew. The other one is actually Rach, looking very, very different. So that one there, she doesn't look a bit like that anymore. That was kind of 80s throwback hair and stuff. But yeah, it was all cropped short and that now. But yeah, we've both, like I say, we've known each other now for best part of 30 years. So we've shared all of almost 20 of those together. So we've shared so much together. Over the half a lifetime really together. So
Wow.
we both changed a bit in that time.
Wow, that's a lovely story.
No, thank you.
I think it's amazing that we can do that now because of the the changes that have been made by the forerunners, people that fought back in the 70s, for LGBT rights. So it's amazing to hear that, and that you can just get on with life and just enjoy being together.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't consider my identity on a daily, weekly, or even monthly basis. Really, it doesn't really cross my mind, because we are just who we are. We have our life together, and we rub along like any other couple. It just so happens that we're both girls. But as you say, people have paved the way for us to be able to do that in complete peace and quiet. largely. And we're very fortunate that, people have put the work in ahead of us, really.
Definitely. I'm back. Rohan, you had a quite old-fashioned way to meet your partner, did you?
Yeah, it wasn't through a football club though. It was just the old-fashioned way of sort of, going to the pub.
People still do that,
Okay,
Go to the pub.
Well, I know you can go to the pub, but it's more often than not. Everyone seems to be meeting on these, what's it called? Applications like Bumble. Yeah. But for more information, I'll tell you later who to contact for that. Those other apps like Tinder, Grindr, Scruff.
Other apps available.
Yeah, just download it from your iPhone.
Other phones are available.
Also available on Android.
John, you met your partner that way, didn't you?
Through gaydar.net. Started messaging through there, so that's quite old school now. And we met at a local service station. And the rest
service station,
really. Yeah. I mean, he was from out of town, so it was the easiest place for me to direct him to. He didn't know where we lived or where I lived, so yeah, met him on a car park, and the rest is history. Well, how long is that now? 17 years. No, that's not right. I don't know, a few years.
So when you said out of town, you were in Telford and he was
other side of Shrewsbury, so it wasn't too far away. Yeah, so 2007, so 14 years. Don't know where I got 17 years from. Yeah, so you could just drive down the motorway and stop off there, and yeah.
And you, when did you get married, John?
2014.
14. And
12th of September. So I remember.
And then when did you get married? Sorry, I've made a big presumption. Are you as well?
We aren't actually. No, we've worn rings for many years, just as a sign of commitment to each other. But we've never actually formalised it either through civil partnership or through. I think we're still trying to make up our minds if we like each other, to be honest. Might need a couple more years yet.
That's a good idea.
If it's any consolation, I haven't done anything like that either.
I guess if you haven't got children, there's less kind of pressure to, sort of because of parental responsibilities and things. And I suppose the other thing is to think about is pensions and where you lie with pensions and your partners, and are they eligible?
Have we lost Mel?
I think about
I think so.
Oh, no.
The joys of modern tech, eh? The joys of modern tech. So we'll carry on anyway. That was talking about pensions. So Anna, have you got any interesting hobbies?
Interesting might be open to interpretation, I suppose. But I mean, the thing that we do together, I suppose that the thing that takes us away into our own space together is we've got a caravan, and I know I don't look old enough, but I started early, and we've got a caravan that we take away as often as we possibly can, whether it's just for an escape for the weekend to a local place. There's a place very close to Sol 20 actually in Solihull, which sounds like it should be a concrete jungle, but actually it's a beautiful little place out in the woods that we escape to, which is only sort of 40 minutes from here. And we do longer trips, when we can, weeks here and there and stuff. And we just find it takes us away from home. We don't have the TV on or anything like that. We're just in each other's company. We sit and read books, or we play cards, and just have time for each other, really. And it's great to be away from home and from the various sort of responsibilities we've got at home, and just have space together in a cozy little caravan. Nothing I'd rather be doing, to be honest.
Is it like one of these American big silver things?
No, I don't get paid that much, Rohan, unfortunately. But but it is very cozy.
Cozy enough for the two of you. That's the main thing.
Yeah, it is.
Can I just ask, can I be really personal and nosy? Is it like the caravans you got in the 80s? Because that was very cozy.
No, it's fairly modern. I think it's about, what is it, probably about 7 or 8 years old. We started off with a little a baby one that was about 12 feet long, where you had to kind of make the bed up every night and then put it down again in the morning so that you actually got somewhere to sit, kind of thing, and you could almost touch the sides if you put your arms out. So we sort of cut our teeth on quite a small one that we had from my uncle, and then we haven't done that for years. Sort of made our mistakes in it. We upgraded to a big one with a fixed bed, so that means we don't have to make the bed up every night now. So it's sort of, I suppose it's technically a 4-berth, but it's just comfortable for 2, really.
Yeah, I think you should just post a picture of your caravan.
Well, his name's Charlie, so he's quite part of the family. Charlie Van, yeah.
Nice one.
Charlie Van, I love that. I've got Fifi, the Fiat motorhome.
And I've got William the wheelbarrow.
Quite comfy there, wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. So have you got any other hobbies? Are you involved in anything else?
I suppose the other thing that sort of takes quite a lot of my time is I'm a listening volunteer for Samaritans. I've been doing that for about 3 years or so not too long, really. And that was something that I decided to do to get myself a better work-life balance, because at times at work I felt it was all a bit of a thankless task sometimes, and never really seeing the sort of output of all the difference that I was making, and I joined Samaritans to sort of balance that, really. And I just think it's such a brilliant organisation and a fantastic service. So just for anybody who might not be aware of Samaritans, it's a UK and Ireland based charitable organisation that provides a listening ear for anyone and everyone who might be going through a tough time, whether that's relationship difficulties or family, work, people who have mental health issues, people perhaps even suicidal, who have got an opportunity just to pick up the phone and speak to someone who will focus very much on them and what's going on in their life, and try and give them space to talk through their options and just get stuff off their chest. And I think the power of talking to a stranger is really quite immense, and it's a real privilege to do that, and for just to try and help people through those tough times, really. So that's a really big thing in my life, and something I've gained so much from a personal point of view, as well as being able to give something back to people.
That's really interesting, because I don't know about anybody else on the call, but I always thought Samaritans was kind of a last resort to call when you're kind of committing suicide or something like that, and you're kind of on the edge there. It was that kind of who you're going to call.
Yeah, and that is the case for some people, just because we do try to reach anybody and everybody, and obviously what we're trying to do is reach people before they get to that stage, before they have started making those plans or feel that desperate and that they've got nowhere else to go. But that's interestingly, it's one of the urban myths about Samaritans, that it's just for people who are suicidal, when actually it's not. I've spoken to someone once who'd lost an elderly gentleman who'd lost his partner, and he missed someone saying goodnight to him.
Yeah.
So he phoned, and he was probably on the call for 90 seconds or so. He said, I just like someone to wish me good night so I can go to bed now. And I did that, and that was all he needed, And so there's a real spectrum of callers, all equally as powerful in their own way. And also, it's not there's no kind of sort of religious affiliation either. The word Samaritan is associated with a Christian parable some people might be familiar with, but actually that was just coincidental when the organisation was set up back in the 50s. So there is no sort of religious affiliation. The people who volunteer are from all walks of life, the same way as the callers are from all walks of life. So, but it's just a really, really interesting thing to do.
But to be honest, I always assumed, thank you for clearing that myth up, because I always assumed it was a Christian organization, predominantly targeted at a Christian audience. But that was my incorrect perception.
Yeah, the guy who started it with one telephone back in the early 1950s, I think it was, a fella called Chad Farrar. He was actually a vicar, but that was just entirely coincidental. And the name, he didn't originally call his group that. I can't actually think what they called themselves now, but it was actually a newspaper reporting on oh yeah, well done. It was a newspaper that was reporting on this new organisation that Chad had set up, and he sort of coined the phrase, I want to tell you about this Good Samaritan. So it was using the term as not in a religious sense necessarily, but just somebody who was trying to do good for other people, and it was that stuck with the organisation. But as I say, there isn't any sort of religious affiliation or any kind of sort of bias anywhere. It's just people connecting with people.
That's really cool. Very good, very good. Liv, have you got anything else to add at all, or ask? You can't say no. Put you on the spot.
No, I think it's been really nice to hear from Anna about just your experiences and what you do in your spare time. And yeah, like, I think people underestimate the power of kind of kindness from strangers, just in general. Like, sometimes, you don't know what someone else is going through, and maybe if you just smile to someone across the street, that might, that could cheer someone up, and you might not necessarily realize how much of a positive impact that's made.
It could have made the day and set them off on the right foot. Yeah,
I think that's a great point. And let's face it, love in whatever form that it comes in your life starts with kindness, doesn't it? And it starts with a smile, and it starts with company and companionship and stuff. So I think that's a great way of reflecting on it, because we all have the ability to be kind to each other, and as you say, it can cost very little to you personally, but can mean so much to someone else. That's a great way of looking at it.
And do you know what the big takeaway from hearing you speak, Anna, for me has been? You've sort of summed it up very nicely. I think, irrespective of what your identity is, who how you see yourself, how others identify you, the things that are really important are those human qualities, kindness, and the other things you've just mentioned. That's what makes us all human, and irrespective of how we identify ourselves.
Yeah, agreed. Thanks, Ryan. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think that's one of those positives that's really come out of the COVID situation. To your point, Liv, kindness doesn't cost anything, or can cost very little, but can have a massive impact. And I know I live in a rural community, and the communities really kind of come together to help, different people within that community. Maybe it's going shopping, maybe it's just, doing a little bit here and back there, because people have had, they've been locked in, they've had to self-isolate, and they've not been able to get shopping and things like that. So every little bit does help. So I think it's a really positive story from COVID.
Definitely. So I think if we wrap it up there, because I think we're getting close to time. It's been a really, really interesting session. Anna, thank you very much for sharing.
Yeah.
Moving into May, we've got a few things going on, a few more celebratory days and things like that. Ida Hobbit, which is International Day Against Homophobia, Transphobia and Biphobia on the 17th. Agender Pride Day on the 19th, Harvey Milk Day on the 22nd, and Pansexual and Pan-Romantic Awareness Day on the 24th of May. Apologies, I had to read that. So there's a few bits and pieces coming up there. So watch this space for communications and things like that. And then we're also sort of planning June, which is Pride Month, and we've got Pride Week at the very end of June with a few bits and pieces on the back burner to start communicating out as soon as the details are finalised. Does anybody else have anything else to add before we head off?
I just wanted to say once again, thank you, Anna, for sharing your story and your journey with us on Lesbian Visibility Week.
You're welcome. Thank you for asking.
Thank you.
Okie doke then. Thank you everyone for taking part, and thank you all out there for listening, and we will see you next time.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye.